Hi guys! So today's video is going to be a brow tutorial. I'm going to talk about how I groom and fill my eyebrows. Just figured we would knock out the whole process because a lot of people have asked me and it's really hard to explain to someone how you do something like this without showing them. Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely a visual learner. So I decided to make this video, and if you want to learn how I fill my brows, then just keep watching. Okay, so as you can tell, the look doesn't really look complete unless you have your eyebrows done. I just feel like that's something that really finishes off any look, and normally I would do them earlier in my makeup process, but I just want to have everything done, so when I did this I didn't look like I was halfway through something. And I guess I'll just talk about first of all, the way that I groom my eyebrows, because I know a lot of people have asked me where do you go, and I just tell them I do it myself, and they're astounded, and I'm just well, maybe I will explain myself. So obviously everyone needs a pair of good tweezers. The first thing that I do though is I take a spoolie brush like this, and I have these little these little scissors. They're really sharp, specifically made for kind of trimming smaller hairs. They're not normal scissors. Obviously you can just get them at Ulta or Sephora or wherever. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is brush all your hairs up. Also, I'm looking down into the mirror right below the lens, so that's why it might look weird. And you can see how some of mine are sticking up. They're longer there. Just stick them all up so you can see who the heck is not doing their job in there. And then, this is always easier on one side, on your dominant side probably, but once you do it a few times you kind of get used to it. I will push those boys up, and then I'll pull it back toward the middle of my face so I can see all of them sticking up, and just trim them, kind of like your hairdresser does. Picture what it looks like when they're trimming your hair. They cut off all those weird little pieces. They don't trim the whole chunk, because then you're going to have a weird block of hair, and then you're just going to be ruined for a couple weeks. So just start small and try your best. But the goal is, once you have them all stuck up like this, there shouldn't be any extra long ones. And you might have to poke them up a little bit more, kind of push them toward the middle of your face a little bit more to see what you're working with. But see how I don't have any crazy long ones now. And you can do it over here too, but I have recently done this so they're not too out of control. And then do it with these hairs as well, but I'm okay with the way that they look right now. So then just put them back and push them down, and we're going to do it this way too, so you can just kind of see again who is just not your friend here. And when you do it, you don't have to do it down because you can't really tell that there's all these long hairs in there, but I just like to do it to see if there's any crazy ones. And I might just give them a little bit of a trim because you can see that they are a little crazy. I think I might just leave the ones that are up here because they help fill in right there. That's the worst spot of my brow existence. So then you can just kind of brush it, make sure it looks the way you want. And then I'm just going to do the other eye quickly. Yeah, so you can see there's a ton of them right there, which is just, this is the worst possible look. I have pet peeves of people that do not pluck their brows and they look like this, where they have a bunch of hairs just right there. It hurts me. I just want to help. Because you honestly don't even have to spend any money, except for on a pair of tweezers. You don't even need to do this part. That's cheaper than getting your brows done every 2 weeks or however fast your brows grow. Okay. I think I'm cool with the trimming. And then for the plucking, you basically, it's gonna be hard the first few times you do this. That's why maybe the first time that you try to do this, try and have your brows like professionally done within the last like 2 weeks, I would say, so you can see which hairs are baby hairs and which ones that your like esthetician like took away from you, so you know kind of like the outline of what you want your brow to do. Something else you can also do is take like a darker colored like eyeliner or even like a brow pencil and really fill in, like just obnoxiously fill in where you want the shape of your brow to be, and then anything that's outside that line you can just get rid of. I've never done that because I do fine just visualizing where I want the outline to be, but that's an option if you want to try it out. So basically, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, I can't really tell because the viewfinder is really small, but maybe once I edit this. I can see tiny little hairs that I am not okay with. And it helps if you pull your skin tight. It doesn't hurt nearly as bad. And you gotta pull them out quickly. If you never plucked your eyebrows, I don't know. Just, you'll figure out how to do it. But I can just see all the little ones that I don't want. And a ton of my brow hairs are blonde, so sometimes it's kind of hard to get all the ones I want. But just try your best. And honestly, every day I check and make sure. Like, I don't trim them every day, but if I'm about to do eye makeup and I see one, I just pull it out real fast. Like, it's usually like less, it could be anywhere from like 2 to 4 hairs per day. Like, it's not a big deal. And that's just kind of how I stay on top of it. And don't forget, you can pluck the hairs above your brows too, because I find that those are an issue. When you get waxed, they definitely wax above your eyebrow. So if that is outside of your stencil that you drew or you're visualizing, get rid of them. I don't really have an issue with like in the middle. I don't know if you do, just make sure you grab those because that's not a cute look. Sometimes I pull the little straight ones right in the middle, like toward the inside of my brow, because they don't lay down the way I want them to. Again, you might have to kind of brush your hairs up to really see those little ones hiding that you don't want. So yeah, so that's all I do to like groom my eyebrows. I really only trim them probably once a month. Like, I wasn't really ready to trim them now, but since I was making the video, I figured I'd just show you guys. You'll be able to tell once they get like pretty out of control or whatever. So that would be my step 1 for you. Okay, so the next thing is going to be filling them in, obviously. I've used a couple different like brow pencils, and I have used the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, which is high-end. It's like pretty expensive, and it's good. Like, I liked it and everything. I can't really justify spending that much money on an eyebrow pencil, especially when you need it refilled. Probably like you're gonna have to buy a new one probably every like 3 to 4 weeks, depending how heavy you go, obviously. And so I found this, it's called the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and they came out with this not long after Anastasia Beverly Hills had their brow pencil, and it's at Ulta. It's way cheaper. It is exactly the same thing. It's like it has a spoolie on one end, which I just use to comb out like right before I'm going to use the pencil itself. And then the other side is like a very tiny, precise pencil, and that's what I like. I don't want those huge like fat pencils. Like, that's not gonna work for me. So I'm using the color chocolate, but I usually use brunette. They were just out of the one I was looking for, so I just pick up whichever one I can find. They have a good range of shades, so definitely check them out if you are in the market for that. So the first thing I do is I start on the inside of my brow. Do not, under any circumstances, go any further in than what your natural brow is, or it's just gonna look weird. Unless like you shaved off half your eyebrow, then you really gotta fake it. You know what I'm saying? So I just start right about here, just to like I don't want to go to this area yet because I got to figure out what this is going to look like. So I just do little motions like this. And this is still, you still need to be visualizing the way that you want the brow to look. So like I said, I have this problem area right here. It's like bald for some reason. I can't trim it. I can't shape it. It's never going to work. This is the problem eyebrow. And it's fine because we're going to discipline him. So this is where I really have to visualize the way I want it. I kind of have to push those little hairs up and draw my line. Just like that. So I don't want this to look like a horizontal line coming across there, so I kind of have to fake it under here. I have to add a few more strokes to make it look like there's hair there, and just kind of taper it off. So now it has the arch. So it's that easy. Like any places where you're not liking the way you're looking, the way that the brow is looking, just fake it. Like just think of ways that you can, like change the different sides, or like it's like when you're taking pictures and you change the angles to make yourself look better. Like it's just like that. That's what we have brow products for. So then I usually just go in toward the middle and I use a very light hand because this is where things can get dicey. This is where girls can go wrong and fill it in way too much. I don't like the bottom of my brow to be pointed. I don't like it to be rounded. I don't even like it to be defined enough that there's a shape there. I just want it to fade into the brow, and I just want it to get darker as it goes. So like I said, I just use a light hand until I feel like it doesn't look bald anymore. And that's how I like the inside of it to look. So you can tell it's just kind of faded or tapered in. Then up here, this brow is still a problem child, and I kind of have to fake it. So it's like super sparse, like right there. I don't know if you can see, but you can see where you could connect the dots and make it a good brow. So what I do is I just draw the line and then fill in the sparser parts. And it's kind of a process. It's not going to be, pretty as soon as you do it. But see how, I don't know if you can tell, this part is a little bit higher. So it's like, it comes up and then it goes down and everything, and then it's my arch. So I don't want it to look like that. I want it to be arched the whole way. I don't need like a mountain range up there. So I come up here and I fill it in just a little bit higher than it really is. See how I made that point? Those are my dots that I'm going to connect. And you just have to keep working until it looks the way you want it to. And especially if you're going out or whatever, you can kind of do a bolder brow and arch it a little more if you want. I usually just stick to kind of the same old thing because I'm never feeling too bold with brows. So now that we've connected those dots, it's looking better than, its natural shape, because we got to keep him in line. And then for the tail, I don't really do that much. You should have your tail darker than the inside, so it's like kind of like an ombre effect. But I don't really have like any tips for the tail. I just kind of lightly draw the line and fill in the arch part. Make sure this is rounded and not like pointy or anything. And just kind of taper it off. So the difference is crazy, obviously, but also when you're doing this, make sure that you're like turning your head different ways, looking up, down, whatever, because you never know if you could have missed a spot. We're not perfect, okay? Also, if you don't know, brows are not supposed to be twins. They are definitely sisters, and that's okay, because that's just what we're given, what we gotta work with. So, like I said, this brow is just the douche of my two brows. This one is, I'm happy with him. He does what he's supposed to. So I'll just quickly go through this one. I'm not probably going to talk. I'll probably just speed it up because you just watched me do that one. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you saw right there, but the arch of this brow I made a little more rounded, and this one was a little too pointy for me, so I just went in and rounded it out, again just visualizing the way I wanted it to look, and that's the shape that I'm happier with. I don't really like the way like a pointy arch looks on me. For now, maybe someday I will, but for now I just like them to be rounded. And yeah, so that's all I do with the pencil. And then the next thing I use is just a small angled liner brush from Sephora. And then I use this NYX eyebrow powder. And I use it in dark brown. I don't think they have as much of a selection for these, but definitely go check them out. It comes with 2 little brushes inside, but those are garbage. And this wax, but I'm not a fan of eyebrow wax. Honestly, you can just buy clear brow gel and use it afterwards, but I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. So, the first thing I do is I take the lighter color. Clearly, it's time for me to buy a new brow kit here, but that's okay. This has lasted me so long. And I use this on the inner, I don't know, probably like inner 4th, maybe inner 3rd, just to set the pencil, because anytime that you use a cream product, you want to set it with a powder. And then this also just makes it look more natural. Because, I don't know, it just kind of like blurs it out and like kind of blends everything, so you don't look like you have all these like Sharpie marks on your eyebrow. And then I use the darker color, and I start up here and I go over the arch, and at the end I kind of flick it down so it stays rounded, and then come finish that up over here. And then I just fill in the rest. This can also really help if you kind of like messed up on your using the pencil and you just can't figure out how to fix it. Just relax and try the powder. It usually works. Okay, so usually when I'm doing this, and I'm not talking through it, I can do it in under 2 minutes. Like, it takes me no time at all in the mornings. So if you're looking for like a quick routine, literally just grab those couple of products and call it good. You don't even really need both of them. If you're like just starting, maybe just use the powder and you can like kind of get used to it. Because I know the first time I filled my eyebrows in, I was like, damn, it looks like I took a Sharpie to my face. And that's probably because I did not do it very well. But also, it's kind of weird to see yourself with your brows filled in for the first time. So if you're like nervous, just do it at home at night before you get in the shower, or like just on a weekend. You can wipe it off if you don't like it. Like, that's what makeup is for, to just play with. So those are my words of advice. And then one more thing that I wanted to mention was sometimes if I get too far in on like these corners, like, I don't know, sometimes they get a little too pointy, I'll just take my finger and kind of blend it. And it's not really going to work if you put a lot of product right there, but like I said, I usually use a light hand, so you can just kind of blend it out. Otherwise, you can take the spoolie and blend it out. Some people put concealer around their eyebrows. That's not for me, which reminds me, I need to highlight. So that's the last piece, actually. I'm just using any little highlight that will work. Put him right there, and that just put on your brow bone. And it brings the brow bone forward and just kind of lifts your brow just to finish everything off. And we might take this dude and make sure that's all going together, because blending is your friend. And yeah, I think that is about everything I have to say about it. I figured I would just make a video because that's probably the #1 thing people ask me. And I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever. Let me know if you have any other ideas for future videos. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.